When children are the victims of abuse, the roar of motorcycles can be the first thing a child hears coming to their rescue. Sometimes intimidating in appearance, long-haired, leather-clad bikers show their support with their creed that they live by. No child deserves to live in fear. There's a nonprofit international organization that has several chapters in the Central Florida region, and their story is coming up on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Brian Lacey, and joining me in studio, two very distinct individuals. I'd like to introduce you to Blade and Looney. Blade is the president of the Bikers Against Child Abuse Thousand Lakes chapter. How you doing, Blade?
Pretty good. How are you today?
All right. And Looney? Looney is the president of the Bikers Against Child Abuse Bay Bridges chapter. Welcome to Polk Place.
Thank you.
Been on the show before in the past. Let's refresh the folks' memory at home. Let's talk a little bit about BACA. What exactly is BACA?
It's a Bikers Against Child Abuse. It's a biker organization. We're a non-profit organization. None of us get checks. None of us get paid. It's a voluntary organization. We're here to make children not feel afraid to live in this world.
Talk a little bit about its origin. You know, not only is it in the Central Florida region, but it's really around the world.
Yes, we started in 1995 in Utah. Chief started it, and it just blew up from there. And right now, we're currently in 49 states. We got one more to go, and 15 countries that are in the works right now also.
With its start in Polk County, how did it come about?
I just went on a ride. I'd seen the guys before, and I was kind of curious, so I went on a ride with them, and here I am. One thing led to another. I mean, obviously, everybody likes riding their motorcycle, and who don't like taking care of children, so we get to do both.
Now, when you speak of taking care of children, let's talk a little bit about what the process it is that you and your members go through, as far as take me from A to Z, from beginning to end, when you first get that phone call about a child in need.
When I first get a phone call, I have to get it from the legal guardian or the child protection services. Some of those homes also, I get calls from them at times too, and it has to be from a legal guardian that has custody of the child. We don't get involved in any custody cases and stuff of that nature. We're there to make the child feel alive again and feel safe, because so many times they're not. Once we get the call, we'll ask a few questions over the phone, not too much, and then I'll send an IC team out, and that's an investigation team. They go out anywhere from 4 to 6, no more. We like to keep it around 3 to 4, and they'll go sit down and talk to the child, talk to the mother or dad, whoever has legal custody of the child, and we go from there. And we don't want to know too much. We don't want to know all the information about a case, because we don't want to become witnesses. And once that's done, then we'll go back to the board, talk about it. If it's a good case that we feel that we're going to help this child, we do what we call a level 1 and adopt them into the biker family. Once a BACA child, always a BACA child, even when the case is done.
Let's talk a little bit about the success stories. There are many children that have gone through and that you guys have been mentors and stood up for. Talk about some of the success stories. You know, obviously some of the children are a little bit older now. Yes,
we have some that's been done for two years, I think. Some over 2 years now in my chapter alone, but in other chapters there's kids that have their own kids now. We get asked quite often to attend a wedding or attend a graduation or birthday parties, whatever, because they become our family too when we do this. And it's very good to watch a kid grow up and progress on and enter the world with their own thinking instead of being somebody thinking for them and run them.
Now, Looney, you come to us for the first time. Tell me a little bit about how you got involved with BACA from the beginning.
There was a tragedy with one of my kids, and I've always been a biker, always rode a motorcycle. Started looking for something how we could help kids, and came across a Facebook video of BACA. Called, and first person I spoke with was Blade, and came to my first meeting, and from there I was hooked. And they needed a chapter over in the area that I was in, that I lived in, and we were coming with 7 or 8 people, enough to start a chapter. So we started the process of a chapter forming, and then went through the temp charter status of a year, and became a full chapter in April. So
Let's talk a little bit about that process. What did it take? I mean, obviously you had other programs to learn from, mentor off
yes.
of. Let's talk a little bit about what you've learned from, say, this chapter, and then taken and brought to yours.
Everything. Between them and Tri-County, which is, when we first started, we went to 2 different chapter meetings a month, and every event that we could go to. We went to the Orlando and the Thousand Lakes. Blade, for the first probably 6 months, really taught us everything that he could about BACA. And then they changed the process a little bit, and they started a chapter development thing where they have trainers come out and train you, and they work with you. And it's a year. It took us 18 months to do the whole process, from chapter forming effort, from our first meeting to when we became a full chapter. They train you on everything. There's, you have to know how to talk to the children. You have to know how not to, how to act in court so you don't ruin it. Were they going to mistrial because you've said something or done something stupid? All the basics about BACA. When you're starting a chapter, you have to learn how to run it like BACA wants you to. So it was a very intense training for 12 months.
Webinars, we have webinars they go through. There's tons of training. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of patience. I commending for the patience they did. They're a strong chapter doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Let's talk a little bit about, people have a perception of bikers and how things go down, but in all actuality, there's kind of a paramilitary structure about it, and how business is dealt with. And you guys, even in what you do, it starts from the top and goes down, and that same respect and ethic is taught to each one of your members. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's all about respect in the biker world, from start to finish. And it kind of runs uphill because the president has everything to do with the chapter. Anything goes wrong, it comes back to him. And then you answer to international, to the state, and then to international if you have to about it. I think it's structured pretty strong how we run things. We do have a lot of rules, and when you first start, it might overwhelm you. It really will. And then after a period of a year, you'll be looking, going, that's why they had us do this. That's why we done that. And you just got to trust in your forefathers, the one that's been before you, and if that's what you want to do, then it's not a problem.
And we've talked before, this process isn't, the latest jump in and yippee, and it's for the cause. Once you're in this, you're in this for life. Talk a little bit about that.
I mean, you can get out at any time you want.
Yeah, exactly. But you guys put forth the effort that
right.
you want to be a vital part of the community that you live in.
Yes, we definitely do. I mean, we're a nonviolent group. You're not going to get to our kids. That's not going to happen. But we obviously try to be nonviolent and take care of our business without going down that road if we can do it at all means. There's some security issues when we're on a child. It might not go that way, but we try to avoid that at all cost. As far as getting involved, you need to come to 2 meetings. After 2 meetings, then you can go get fingerprinted. We do a VEX and a level 2 FBI background check on you. Once that's done, then you got 60 days from then you become a cleared supporter. Once you're a cleared supporter, you can pretty much do everything everybody else does except be a primary, ride up front and vote. So you got a year then, and you learn over a period of a year. You have classes and deadlines you have to meet, and you become a very valuable member over that period of a year, and you see an awful lot of stuff. I try not to show everybody in my chapter everything. As far as what goes on with the kids, only very few of us know exactly pretty much what's happened to them. You just need to know that's a child in need and need to help.
Now, Looney, as the newest chapter within the Florida region, talk about the relationships harvested with, say, law enforcement or any other advocacy group for children. Kind of, you're building off the success of other chapters, but yet you're starting your own chapter. Talk about the importance of building those relationships.
Well, it's important we work with these organizations that are already in place, and law enforcement, child advocacy agents. It's hard to get in at first, because when you go into a new area like that, you can show them some videos and you can give them your website, but they don't know you yet. You have to build that relationship. Law enforcement is probably the hardest one to get into. But once perseverance, being persistent, you just keep calling, you keep trying to get an appointment, and now we're in 3 different counties where the law enforcement is working with us. They've tied us in with their child advocacy agencies, and that's how you get your children. They're the ones, the state's attorneys, the prosecuting attorneys, they're the ones that know all the cases, so they refer the parents to us. We're another resource in the counties. You just keep working on it. There for about 6 months, I probably did 2 agency presentations a week, trying to get them to know. But now that our word's getting out, and we've been there for a while. We've been there for a little over a year and a half.
I asked you.
They're calling us now. So, and they're starting to see that it does work. And all it takes is that one child to work with the one agency, and then they spread the word throughout the different counties. So.
And once that, becomes apparent, then you have the resources to recruit the riders that you need. Talk about, if you could inspire those to put on that vest, to put on those shoes, walk those steps that you walk, and be that protective role.
Come to a meeting. Actually, do more than that. Come to 2 meetings, get your background checks, wait your 60-day vetting period, and come to a child event with us. And if it doesn't empower you, then it's probably not for you.
And go on about your merry way. It's fine.
Yeah, and we part friends. But once you've come to either a level 1 adoption like Blade was talking about, or a court case, and see the empowerment and the fear in these children, but when we're around, they're not afraid. And they'll go in and testify. They're our heroes. It just takes one. You'd be hooked.
Yeah, most people, if they win the lottery, will go all around the world. I win the lottery, me and him's hanging out in court all the time. That's unbelievable.
Yep.
Blade, Looney, I want to thank you for coming on, sharing your stories of success with us, and I wish you all the luck with the new chapter, Looney.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Bikers Against Child Abuse, or BACA, is an international organization of motorcycle riders that works to create a safer environment for abused kids. Now, their goal is to empower children not to live in fear of the world in which they live. Their work in conjunction with local, state, and officials who are already in place to protect children and stand by to shield the children from further abuse. Their meetings are open to the general public and start at 10 a.m. on the first Sunday of every month. They meet at the American Legion, Post 8 in Winter Haven. For more information on the Thousand Lakes chapter, you can give them a call at 863-588-6560 or look them up on the web at bacaworld.org.